On the first day of school, I pinned the school bully against the corridor and kissed him. My classmates all thought I was crazy. I picked the meat out of the school bully's bowl, and his friends were afraid that he would flip the table. I wore the school bully's coat, and the girls who had a crush on him all said it was impossible. It wasn't until I was admitted to the hospital that the school bully rushed into the ward like crazy and begged me not to die in front of our classmates. No one dared to say a word. 10 years after my death, a man in a trench coat knelt in front of my grave. He gulped down the wine mouthful after mouthful, and the deep affection in his eyes flowed out, turning into blood and tears that seeped into the soil. The handsome man's temples were tainted with the frost of time, and his lips that kissed my tombstone were burning hot. Since the first year after my death, he had come to settle down in this mountain. It took him 3 years to plant all my favorite roses for me. Every night, when he called out my name and kept spitting out blood, I would look forward to a gust of wind blowing rose petals onto his lips stained with blood. Now, he was on the verge of death. Lovesickness had made him ill, and he was like an oil lamp running out of fuel, suffering from an incurable disease. As the night grew deeper and he got drunk, the hand with which he was holding my tombstone slowly loosened. If I had been a little braver back then, would we have had a different ending? He held me in his arms until he died. Heaven couldn't bear to watch. Suddenly, there was a fierce storm, with thunder and lightning. A bolt of lightning struck my tombstone right on the mark. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the first day of my university registration. My best friend's shrill scream mercilessly pierced my eardrums. Aha! Noah, the school bully, has actually come to our class. I'm going to faint from his handsomeness. He's so handsome. So handsome. I stared blankly. Noah was as sharp and profound as his obsidian stud earrings, making it impossible to look away once you set your eyes on him. Right. I remember that during the class reshuffle in the sophomore year, for some unknown reason, Noah transferred from Class A, where the top students were gathered, to our ordinary Class C. At that time, I secretly rejoiced that I could be closer to the person I had a crush on. Now that I think about it, he probably transferred here on purpose. From just now until now, he has casually glanced in my direction 3 times. I was really stupid in my last life. Truly. My best friend grabbed my hand and shook it vigorously. My God. Did he come here for Narcissa, the beauty of our department? It's over. It's over. I really hope he won't be deceived by that white lotus. I'll be really angry. While we were still guessing, Narcissa, wearing a white mini-skirt, walked up to Noah and tried to pull at the corner of his clothes. But he dodged. Noah frowned and looked at her. But Narcissa didn't notice and got even closer, as if she wanted to say something. Noah directly took 2 steps back, his brows furrowed tightly. But if you didn't look carefully and just saw their backs, you would only think that they were a perfect match and looking at each other affectionately. I stood up with a whoosh, pushed open the classroom door amidst my best friend's astonished shouts, and went out to the corridor, in front of Narcissa's affectionate gaze. I grabbed Noah's arm and pinned him directly against the wall. He was stunned. Narcissa wasn't willing to let it go and quickly tried to push me away. But Noah grabbed her wrist mercilessly and blocked her. Noah shot her a warning glance. And although Narcissa was very reluctant, she still let go of her hand in pain. My head only reached Noah's shoulder. I looked up at him and fell straight into those deep eyes. Noah's gaze was deep. What do you want to do? My face turned red, and I leaned close to his ear and asked softly, kiss you. Okay? His eyes narrowed. Do you have the guts? I directly answered him with my actions. Noah was too tall. I had to stand on tiptoe and hold on to his shoulder to reach his lips. I was so tired. I only managed to hold on for 5 seconds. You're crazy. What are you doing? Narcissa was so angry that she pulled at me forcefully. But Noah pressed her down again. He tilted his head to separate from me, and his gaze was a bit fierce as he pushed Narcissa away little by little. Can't you understand my warning? If you lay a hand on her again, I won't be lenient. Noah closed his eyes, and when he opened them again and looked at me, he put away his sharp edges. He touched the place where I had kissed him. Playing with me? Is it fun? I felt embarrassed and fidgeted with my fingers. The words of confession were on the tip of my tongue, but I was too shy to say them. If there's a next time, I'll take it seriously. Do you hear me? He sneered and turned to go downstairs. Noah. It's going to be time for class. Where are you going? Damn it. Noah. Why is your face so red? Shut up. There was a sound of something heavy rolling down. Noah. Hey. Someone come. Give a hand. Noah tripped over his own foot and fell down the stairs. That night, the school bully was pinned against the wall and forcefully kissed, and Noah's first kiss set the confession wall on fire. And I was shaken by my excited and crazy best friend until I was dizzy. Tell me quickly. What's going on between you and the school bully? When did my delicate little cabbage learn to pounce on a pig? I said that actually Noah loved me so much that he always wanted to kiss me my tombstone. And my best friend said that I was daydreaming. I then said that Noah and I had been in love for 10 years, a love between a human and a ghost. And my best friend poured a mouthful of iced cola into my mouth to make me come to my senses. In the end, I had to admit under duress, yes, I'm too lustful, and molested him. My best friend let out a wow. Then he has a pretty good temper. He didn't even get angry at you for the forced kiss. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Yes. He has a very good temper. The kind that can scare the beauty of our department to tears. While we were chatting and laughing, the atmosphere on the confession wall quietly changed. The comments were no longer about Noah's gossip, but instead, the focus shifted to me. The unknown female protagonist. An anonymous person exposed the information, stating that I actually had a boyfriend and that my kissing Noah was completely an act of infidelity. They also exposed some chat records, and even private photos. The public opinion immediately reversed. Most people began to analyze from the familiarity of the conversation that this was indeed an intimate conversation that only lovers would have. Some of my classmates compared my profile picture and confirmed that the two profile pictures were exactly the same. Some people couldn't hold back and cursed me with the dirtiest words. But they were stopped by more people. Don't be too hasty to scold. It's possible that the pictures are photoshopped. Don't slander others casually. That's right. Didn't you hear what Noah said? Whoever touches this girl, he'll deal with them. He's protecting her like this. Do you dare to wrongly accuse her? The last person who offended Noah had to clean the men's toilet for 3 months. He was even soaked in the smell. It's a lesson from the past. Don't you understand? My best friend was eager to find a way to clear my name. I pursed my lips. It's true. My best friend gasped. Then what should we do? Noah will definitely be furious. I thought about the timeline of this life and said, but he's my ex-boyfriend. We broke up a long time ago. Hearing this, my best friend's face fell. What's the use of that? Guys will definitely be jealous. What's more, you don't have a solid emotional foundation. It's just pure lust. It's over. The CPI just started shipping. Won't it end badly? At this moment, my best friend's phone rang suddenly. It was her boyfriend calling. But when she answered, it was another male voice. I'm Noah. You're in the same dormitory as her, right? Give her the phone. My best friend handed me the phone with trembling hands and wide-eyed her eyes. Noah's voice on the phone was a bit distorted. I found the bastard who took money to smear you in the screenshots. He'll clarify the truth later. Don't worry. Holding the phone, I was a little moved by Noah in his youth. I've interrogated the person who paid him to do this. But he refused to say. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Interrogated? My best friend was a bit scared. Anyway, heading fulfilled my session. It's all right now. You should go to bed early tonight. Okay. Neither of us said goodnight. And we held the phone and didn't want to hang up. Noah's voice suddenly became very soft. Did you really try to eat the same noodle with him? I was also stunned and quickly explained in a hurry. No. That was just a casual remark. A frivolous voice came out. Yo. It's not enough for Noah to report that the rumor has been cleared up. What kind of whisper are you two saying? You even have to cover the phone to ask. Get lost. Noah's angry voice came. After hanging up the phone, I rolled around on the bed happily. It wasn't until my ex-boyfriend released the screenshots of the bribery and apologized to everyone, and the comments all spoke up for me, that I realized I forgot to ask for Noah's WeChat. Actually, it doesn't matter, because I can recite Noah's phone number backwards. But I won't add him. I'll wait for him to take the initiative to add me on WeChat. For this reason, I waited for him to appear in the restaurant he liked to eat at. Noah, you're not interested in so many goddess-level girls who are chasing you. Are you really hooked on that little beauty from yesterday? Of course. Last night, in order to refute the rumors, Noah turned the boys' dormitory building upside down. The whole building knows that he's protecting that little beauty. Isn't that showing his concern? What's so strange about that? Noah is just being loyal. Besides, I think that beauty of our department is also good. Her name is Narcissa. Right? She's so pure. What are you guys worrying about? Noah, you tell us yourself. Which one do you think is better? The pure beauty of our department or the cute little beauty? A group of people swaggered in, each carrying their food and sitting at a table to chat. There's nothing to talk about. Noah took a big gulp of soup, and his Adam's apple bobbed up and down. After he swallowed the soup, I walked over and asked him, tell us. Noah, I also want to know. Damn it. Where did this girl's voice come from? Damn it. Noah. Behind you. I wrapped my arms around Noah's neck from behind and gently leaned on him. Noah choked on his words and coughed until most of his face turned red, and his ears were even more red. Cough. Cough. I wanted to hand him a tissue, but he grabbed my hand. His big hand wrapped around mine. Even though he coughed until the veins on his neck popped out, he still didn't have the heart to squeeze my hand tightly. When he calmed down, I was already sitting next to him, using his chopsticks to eat his food. The friend who gave me the seat looked at me with admiration. Noah has a cleanliness habit. Even if his friends use the communal chopsticks to touch the food, Noah will never take a second bite. But until I finished eating the shrimps on Noah's plate, he didn't say a word. He just looked at me with his deep eyes. I was afraid he would be hungry, so I picked up the last shrimp and fed it to Noah. Do you want to eat it? Noah let out a short laugh, opened his mouth and ate it, and asked me slowly, Sonny, what do you mean by asking me to choose between you and the beauty of our department? Is this even a question? Huh? Is she comparable to you? What do you think I'm thinking? You? He got angrier as he spoke. But I liked to tease him even more. Then tell me. What exactly do you think? In my previous life, although he treated me uniquely, he never said, I love you. I was always worried about losing him and never dared to be sure of his love. Now, I've clearly seen his love for 10 years. Hearing him say, I love you, is more like a kind of flirtatious fun. Unfortunately, hadn't fulfilled. Noah in his youth had a very stubborn mouth. Dage. I won't tell that bad woman who stole my first kiss. His voice was still as cold as ever. But his brothers listened, and with their teeth aching, their faces twisted, and they made sounds louder and louder. It was as if they were all having morning sickness together. That was my first kiss too. I poked his cheek. Noah's jawline was well defined, but his face was soft and fleshy. Don't be angry. How about I treat you to noodles? We can share the same noodle. The brother who made an extremely loud "you" sound, besides having his morning sickness, brought over a bowl of steaming braised beef brisket noodles. Here. My treat. It hasn't been touched yet. Brothers really like eating dog food today. Don't be polite. Don't treat us as human beings. Noah sneered. His long and slender fingers with distinct knuckles picked up the chopsticks and forcefully picked up a noodle. What? Do you think I don't dare? I leaned over and sucked in a noodle alone with his chopsticks. Noah's hand holding the chopsticks trembled slightly. I know clearly that he has a cleanliness obsession, but I always challenge his bottom line. In fact, I'm being a bit excessive. But the school bully who makes concessions step by step is really cute. I've already closed my eyes, waiting for him to lose his temper. His brothers were also afraid that he would flip the table. So they were all holding on to the stools, ready to run away. However, after Noah's moment of shock, he just stared at the wet tip of the chopsticks, seemingly considering where to take a bite. Hey. Seriously? He doesn't explode even at this? Last time, I just took a sip of his instant noodle soup, and he directly didn't eat the whole bowl. Okay? You're comparing yourself with that beautiful girl? How can you have the nerve? The beauty of the department loses. That's what I'm saying. I also knew when to stop. I quickly handed him a new pair of chopsticks and changed the topic. I heard you have a basketball game next month. The main players need to eat well. I won't bother you anymore. Noah's slender fingers rubbed the new chopsticks, picked up a bite of noodles, and regained his cocky look. What? Are you coming? I'll be your basketball baby. Noah got sprayed with noodles again. His side neck turned red from choking. The blue veins were ferociously coiled, and the corners of his eyes turned red. Don't you want to see me in a super short skirt? I moved closer to him and whispered to seduce him, waving a golden pom-pom, wearing a crop top to cheer for you, and shouting, "Come on. Noah, at you. Do you want to see that?" The hand Noah had against my shoulder had no strength at all. His face was red all the way to his neck, and he kept backing away, almost leaning into his brother's arms. He covered his face with his palm and didn't look at me. Stop joking. I never look at other people cheering for me. At this moment, a group of very beautiful girls entered the cafeteria. They were all tall and elegant. The one leading them was Vivian, the captain of the basketball cheerleading team and the elder sister of Narcissa, the beauty of the department. Hi. Team Noah. The jasmine fragrance on Vivian was very powerful. She casually combed Noah's short hair without any formality. When he swatted her hand away, she just smiled indifferently. I heard my younger sister was out of line yesterday. I'm here to apologize to you on her behalf. Don't mind it. Noah lay on his brother's shoulder, patted the dust off his short hair, and had no patience at all. Let it go this time. Do you have anything else? Vivian's smile froze for a moment. She heard that there will be a basketball game for the team next month and wants to come and cheer for everyone. Several brothers who had a good impression of Narcissa lit up their eyes. Noah didn't even raise his eyelid. If she wants to come, she can come. It's none of my business. But this time, I really need to ask for your opinion. When Vivian saw Noah open his eyes impatiently, she smiled slightly. Narcissa wants to join the cheerleading team and use your jersey number. Number 15. I remember that in my past life. Both she and Noah had the number 15. Not only were they teased by the sharp-eyed fans, but also a photo of her giving water to Noah was taken and posted on the confession wall. The photo was taken very skillfully. After the boy finished exercising, the sweat droplets hung on his eyelashes, softening his sharp eyebrows and eyes with a touch of tenderness. I cried for as long as those passers-by wrote their little essays about shipping them. I didn't even get to give out the victory gift I had prepared for the game. Even now, I can't help but be extremely jealous. Noah refused without any hesitation. I'm not interested. Ask her to change it. Vivian poured a glass of beverage, raised it to toast him. She likes you playing as a center the most, and she's the beauty of the department. It doesn't cost you anything, does it? At least, give me some face? Noah let out a short laugh. The cost is huge. Then he looked at me teasingly. His brothers also started to whoop and jeer. Sister, bye. Don't care about that brat Noah. He doesn't know how to appreciate. My number is also very handsome. Let the younger sister wear number 3. And we'll score 3-pointers throughout the game. Go away. Let the younger sister wear number 5. And I'll score 5 3-pointers. But Vivian still held the beverage and looked at Noah persistently. Team Noah. My contributions to the team are obvious to all. Consider this as my begging you. Noah stood up very unhappily. His tall figure cast Vivian into the shadow. His brothers stopped their joking around and were a bit at a loss. Noah's eyebrows were fierce. Under the gaze of Vivian, who was so scared that her lips turned a bit pale, he slowly filled his own glass with the beverage and clinked glasses with her. No way. Noah drank it all in one gulp. Don't mention it again. Under Noah's solemn gaze, Vivian left in silence. After seeing Vivian off, Noah stroked my hair. Being a basketball baby is not interesting. The clothes are too short, and you'll catch a cold in your stomach. The brother who was slurping noodles kindly explained. Because of Sister Bai's making a fuss, Noah's basketball baby will be vacant again this year. Otherwise, whoever wears number 15 will be seen as going against the Bai sisters. When Noah saw me with my head down, looking depressed and listless, he clicked his tongue in annoyance, took off his own jersey with one hand, and put it on me. Stretch out your hand. Close your eyes. Wear this. I was put on a drafty XXXL vest over my head. I looked up in shock, and my gaze collided with Noah's upper body without any obstruction. Pervert. Before the basketball game. During this period, I dragged my best friend and checked in at all the restaurants one by one. I was like a starving ghost reincarnated. That's exactly what I was. Really? You can't let Noah see this. Can you eat in a more decent way? No. A ghost who has smelled the smell of hot pot for 10 years has no reason to speak of Cantonese cuisine, Sichuan cuisine, Shandong cuisine, various fusion cuisines, as well as Japanese and German-style taverns. I ate them all. Then, I honorably got hemorrhoids and collapsed. My best friend became a college student special forces on the weekend. She packed 20 skewers of Zibo small barbecue and brought them into my hospital room. She also brought 20 small pancakes. And she even added scallions. Right in front of me, so delicious God. Who is so unlucky not to be able to eat the delicious Zibo small barbecue? No way. No way. Could it be Sunny? I looked at it and swallowed my saliva. Even the little nurse thought my best friend was too mean. While feeling sorry for me as a patient, she came over and took a bite. It's really delicious. The meat is fragrant and the pancakes are soft. She gave a thumbs up. Great. A world where only I get hurt has been achieved. Noah somehow got the news that I was in the hospital and called me. But I couldn't answer because I was changing the dressing. So my best friend answered the phone. I don't know what she said. Later, my best friend also had to help me go to the toilet. So she put the phone aside. Not being able to answer several calls in a row, he started to panic and kept calling one after another, making more than 50 calls. Finally, heading to felt my absari. He rushed into the ward like a madman. Sonny. Don't die. Please. I had just lain back on the bed. My best friend and her mean friends looked at each other. Facing the imposing school bully, they didn't dare to say anything. They let Noah express himself. I'll transfer you to the best hospital. My family is very rich. We will definitely find the best treatment. Please. Hold on a little longer. The doctor silently picked up my medical record. This is already the best hospital. Young man. Noah turned his head so forcefully that I was afraid he would strain his neck. Doctor. How is she? The doctor shook his head. Noah knelt down in front of the doctor with a snap. The doctor slowly helped him up. For hemorrhoids. You still need to take good care of yourself. If you don't pay attention to your diet, it may relapse at any time. Okay? Now, we're giving her conservative treatment. If she still can't live without spicy food, then we can consider surgery next year. Just as he was speaking, another howl like that of a pig being slaughtered came from the next room. The doctor was very humorous. Listen, listen. That's the call for changing the dressing after surgery. Noah silently clenched his legs. He slowly turned around. My best friend and her mean friends took out self-heating mini hot pots. XX Foo spicy hot pot, and spicy chicken feet from their pockets respectively. I looked at the tall school bully with tears still in his eyes and spoke with difficulty. Noah. I won't die. But I will die of embarrassment. Noah rushed out of the ward with his head down. The screams of changing dressings in the anorectal department came one after another. And they couldn't even suppress his wild laughter. Great. My fists are clenched. On the day of the basketball game, I wore a sports vest inside and Noah's jersey outside. And I sat among his team members. A strange and handsome team member patted me. You can't wear the captain's jersey casually. He has a bad temper. Before I could say anything, a team member who knew me put his arm around his neck and dragged him into the corner to give him a piece of his mind. I watched them with my chin in my hand. Giggling. A deep voice came from behind. Is it funny? I turned around. Noah looked at me with a not-so-friendly expression. Especially glaring at several of his handsome teammates who were shamelessly baring their chests. I stuck out my tongue shyly. Stood up. And twirled around in front of him. Your jersey is too big. It covers my short skirt. Is it nice? Noah's eyes darkened. He sat down beside me. Unscrewed the bottle cap. And started drinking water. I didn't expect you to really come. What are you talking about? I promised to come and watch your game. I touched his Adam's apple that kept rolling as he swallowed. He had gone to many battles in the past 2 months and wouldn't choke on water anymore. But he still inevitably stiffened for a moment. He put down the water bottle. My reflection was in his sharp eyebrows and eyes. And his voice was very gentle. You used to always avoid me. When walking with me. You would deliberately separate from me when you met classmates. You didn't even call my name properly. You had to add the word classmate at the end. The assembly whistle blew. Outside the court. There was a hubbub of voices. The sounds of shouting, Noah is awesome, and Shang Da is the first were deafening. His gaze fell on the clothes I was wearing. And the possessiveness in his eyes became even stronger. I'm about to go on stage. Have you thought it through? I shrank back and trembled a bit. He sighed. If you don't want to. I won't force you. I spoke in his slightly disappointed eyes. Noah. The air conditioning is set at a very low temperature. Can you also lend me your jacket to wear? During the halftime break. There was a commotion in the cheerleading team's area. Narcissa was still wearing that cheerleading cropped top with the number 15. But she found that no one was shipping her and Noah as a couple CP. Instead, they were even looking at her with strange eyes. When she noticed my presence, she was furious. She brought along a few of her girlfriends and tried to rush over to cause trouble for me. But Vivian stopped them. She slapped Vivian. And then, right out of eye. While everyone was comforting Vivian, she rushed through the blockade and into the area where I was. When I saw it, it was too late to hide. Her fist came crashing down on me fiercely. Bitch. Thief. How dare you wear his clothes? Noah protected me in his arms and blocked the punch with his tense forearm, letting out a muffled groan. I put it on her myself. Narcissa. Have you had enough of this nonsense? Narcissa shook off her sister Vivian, who had come to stop her, and burst into tears in a state of collapse. Why? We have a marriage contract. Why are you doing this to me? Like a bolt from the blue. Everyone around us was stunned and stared at us blankly. Noah's voice sounded. Suppressing his anger, it was just a casual joke among a few parents when we were 6 years old. After I learned what a marriage contract meant in Chinese class when I was 8, I went to your house and formally called it off. What kind of marriage contract is that? There is a limit to my tolerance. Narcissa simply wouldn't listen. And Vivian also stood beside her. We grew up together as childhood friends. Can't you be nicer to my sister? Noah shot a powerful glance at her. Keep an eye on your sister. In the second half of the game, Noah played especially fiercely. He seemed to have an endless reserve of energy. Dashing forward, bumping with his back, jumping high, and defending. Just as he had declared before the game started. You guys are responsible for cheering. And I just need to win. As the whistle blew, the entire basketball game ended with Noah shattering the backboard with a dunk, marking a resounding victory with a large score difference. Unlike in my previous life. This time, I stood there with my arms open, waiting for him leisurely. And I also gave him a victory gift that I had been working on for a long time. A ring that matched his obsidian stud earring. I love you. I want to lock you up. He picked me up in his arms and, in full view of everyone, kissed me. The whole audience erupted in excitement. Victory, having fulfilled my love. And the teasing of his brothers. The warmth and passion that are so characteristic of youth gradually filled the loneliness of the Noah, who had died in front of the grave in the mountains. I indulged myself and threw myself into it. In the days that followed, I often wondered if I had dodged when he kissed me, the tragedy wouldn't have happened. But Noah's embrace was too warm and too soft. I had been dead for many years, and was too greedy for this burning love. Amid the cheers, He openly put his arm around me and introduced me to all his friends who had come to cheer him on, as well as to the opposing team that had lost the game and came over to pay their respects. "This is my girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. See that? Matching outfits. See this ring? My girlfriend made it herself. You don't have one, do you?" Not only did his brothers want to punch him, but even I wanted to give him a couple of blows. After the game, as usual, we went to a luxury hotel for a celebratory dinner. A group of people were huddled together, and 20 or 30 young men were crowding around someone, walking forward with their arms around each other's shoulders. I don't know who stepped on my foot from behind, and my shoelace came undone. I let go of Noah's hand that I had been holding and squatted on the sidewalk to tie my shoelace. "Hurry up, we're crossing the road," Noah's teammate urged us. Noah stopped, stroked the back of my head. "Hurry up, baby. I'll wait for you. What do you want to eat later? How about I get you a bowl of instant noodles stewed with abalone, sea cucumber, and hairy crabs?" The accident happened in an instant. A speeding car rushed out from the corner and, amidst the screams of passersby, headed straight for me. At some point, Narcissa had also walked up to Noah's side, and her eyes were wide with horror. The last image that remained in my retina was of Noah forcefully pushing me outward, the muscles in his arms bulging. The car crashed into the green belt and was forced to stop. The back of my head hit the railing, and it ached dully. A thick fog of darkness filled my vision, and all I could see was a blurry patch of blood on the ground. No, when I woke up again, the hit-and-run driver had already been arrested. The hospital room was completely quiet. There was no one to take care of me, and the medical record at the head of the bed only said, "CT shows no abnormalities. Mild concussion. Stay in the hospital for observation." The patient in the next bed was Vivian. She had already been out of danger. The little nurse changed her IV bag and then left. I slowly pushed open the door and walked out. There were a lot of people in the corridor, but it was very quiet. They were all leaning against the pale walls, sleeping drowsily. Only the words "in surgery" at the end of the corridor were so red that they were blinding. Who was in there? I leaned against the wall and counted all the people squatting on the ground. Sister-in-law. Someone woke up and quickly supported me when he saw me. He called me sister-in-law? Who was his big brother? Where was his big brother? His big brother had short, spiky hair, and this long-haired guy definitely wasn't him. The corners of his big brother's eyes were upturned, giving off an intimidating look for no reason. And this guy with glasses definitely wasn't him either. Seriously, his glasses were even crooked from sleeping. Let me straighten them for him. His big brother had nice muscles, which was why I liked touching them. The muscles of these guys were no good. Where was his big brother? What was his big brother's name again? Sister-in-law. Noah is in surgery. It's been 20 hours already. He should be coming out soon. Oh. Right. His name was Noah. I sat down, hugged Noah's coat in my arms, and took a deep breath. Sister-in-law. Are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? Maybe he didn't expect me to answer. I stroked the buttons on the coat, which were in the shape of a heart that Noah had sewn on specially. I smiled and blurted out, "Instant noodles stewed with abalone, sea cucumber, and hairy crabs. It's so tacky. We eat this every time we celebrate. I've been wanting to complain about it for a long time." Right? I turned to look at him. Seeing his awkward look, I also fell silent and didn't say anything more. The days that followed were like a fleeting memory. The tall guy, who was 1.9 meters tall, was lying on that bed. So many people were bustling around him. A middle-aged couple came, hugged Noah, and cried with tears all over their faces. They slapped me hard on the face, but were pulled away by the doctors and nurses. Vivian, wearing a white dress and a black hat, also came to question me. "Narcissa committed suicide. Are you satisfied?" Who was Narcissa? My hair was in a mess and my cheeks were burning from the slaps by that couple. I could only say whatever came to my mind. She was left speechless by my questions. The middle-aged couple ordered me not to appear in Noah's hospital room. But soon they were also driven away by the medical staff. Unauthorized personnel are not allowed. But they were not idle. They were very busy. Noah's family business is still running. Wake up and face reality. That man was scolding the woman who had come with him. So they all left. I left too. But just to have a meal. Because Noah said, "Little fool. Your stomach must be empty. Is watching me play basketball that fascinating to you? Forgetting to eat and sleep is not advisable." When I came back, he would definitely accompany me to take a walk on campus to digest the food. And then he would pick a flower for me. In the dead of night, I buried my head in my knees and cried bitterly in the hospital corridor. "Noah. Is your stomach hungry? Wake up, okay? Let's have a meal together." Later, the doctor gave the final diagnosis. The good news was that he was still alive. The bad news was that he was in a vegetative state. The middle-aged woman would always bring various medical experts. But after seeing them off, she would always cry. Sometimes she would hit me. Sometimes she would scold me. But when I was taking care of Noah, she was always quiet. Noah's muscles gradually became flabby. No matter what folk remedies for muscle maintenance massages I looked up, they didn't work. What should I do? When he wakes up, he'll feel inferior. Every time he finished working out, he would be full of energy, toss his hair, and say, "I'm not a weakling." Noah became unclean, in a way. Every time I bathed him, I couldn't help but touch him all over. I touched all 6 sides of his body. It turned out that there was a mole on his buttocks. It turned out that his chest was really pink. I was too shy to look at him before. But now that it was my turn to be shy, he couldn't see me. What a pity. A few days later, Auntie started chattering about the past. How her son won a trophy from somewhere in primary school and captured the heart of a little girl. How her son always liked to draw little heads when doing his Chinese homework. And it was a drawing of a little girl. If only Finn hadn't been drinking. My son would probably be buying new sneakers by now, right? I sat with Auntie and was stunned when I heard the name. Finn? The driver who had hit and killed me in my previous life was also named Finn. Was this just a coincidence? In my previous life, Finn committed suicide 10 days after he hit and killed me. In this life, 6 days had already passed. I had to see him immediately. Auntie, do you know where Finn is now? What do you want to do? Don't cause trouble for our family. My son is lying in bed all because of you. Noah's mother looked haggard and was in a bad mental state. Her tired eyes stared at me intently. It seemed that she couldn't help me. I immediately got up and rushed to the police station. Finn was drunk driving and caused a death. After learning that he had lost his job, he became completely crazy. It's impossible. There must be something wrong with the car. I only drank a little bit. Officer. I really stepped on the brake. I don't know why it accelerated. My heart sank. This was exactly the same excuse as in my previous life. But in my previous life, that car accident happened 2 years later. Was it really possible for a car to have exactly the same problem 2 years in advance? And Finn's death was also very strange. In my previous life, he was actively contacting a lawyer the night before and preparing testimony that was favorable to himself. He even remembered to buy a new laptop for his son. How could a person who was so attached to life commit suicide overnight? I asked Noah's brother to find someone to investigate Finn. And I made an unexpected discovery. He worked for the First Financial Co. Limited. This seemed to be a perfect company. From the legal representative to the employees, they all looked like elite office workers. If the actual controller of this company wasn't Narcissa, I had an incredible conjecture. Even considering that Narcissa was already dead, I couldn't help but say it out loud. This might be a case of hiring someone to commit murder. Noah's brother tried to persuade me. Don't be like this. I know you care about Noah. But it's really inappropriate to suspect a deceased person like this. I also knew that if I hadn't been involved with the same person into lifetimes, I wouldn't have thought of those around me in such an evil way. But the suspicion of hiring a killer kept lingering in my mind. So, I found Noah's brother again and told him, "Please help me investigate. If I'm wrong, I'll kneel in front of Narcissa's grave for a day and a night and offer incense to her. This is the written pledge I'm making." Noah's brother looked at me steadily and let out a long sigh. "Sister-in-law. Noah. Wouldn't want you to kneel. But in the end, he still agreed to help me investigate. Anyway, heading to Philway session, Noah and I both needed to know the truth. If worst came to worst, I would confront Finn. Even if he was going to die, I would ask him the truth before he died. Drunk driving? Absolutely impossible. Finn's accounts were spotless, with normal salary transactions and living expenses. The more I investigated, the more it proved that I was just guessing out of thin air and being whimsical. My face grew paler and paler. Seeing this, Noah's brother pursed his lips and, for the first time, didn't scold me. Perhaps he also realized that someone like me had only managed to hold on until now with a single belief. Whether it was Noah is like this all because of you. Or, you bring bad luck. Why didn't you die instead? I had grown numb to these words. The further I got away from that nightmare, the more I wanted to figure out, why? Why was the driver drunk? Why did the car suddenly accelerate? Why did this happen even though I was on the sidewalk? Why? Why? Even though I had been reborn and could be with Noah properly, did all this still happen? On the last day before Finn's suicide, I sat blankly by the window, looking down from the 20th floor. It was so high up, and I really wanted to jump. Suddenly, Noah's brother rushed in. We found it. Although Finn was innocent, a large sum of money was withdrawn from Narcissa's personal account. It was a cash transaction. These 4 words immediately came to our minds. Without wasting any time, we immediately went to visit Finn's family. Noah's brother used his connections to get to work permits from Finn's company. Under the pretense of the company, we knocked on Finn's door. The house was in a mess, and we didn't find any useful information. But just as we were about to leave, Finn's wife received a phone call. The rent is due? But I didn't rent a house? Noah's brother and I exchanged a look. This was it. After persuading Mrs. Lou to take us there, in the empty room that lacked the breath of life, there was a refrigerator placed there abruptly. Mrs. Lou walked up to the refrigerator and opened it. Then, let out a low sigh. Her legs went weak, and she knelt on the ground. Inside, it was filled with stacks of 100 on banknotes. We found it. In Narcissa's room. We found a diary. It witnessed how a girl who couldn't obtain the love she desired gradually went crazy. Noah helped me today. That's so nice. Next time, I should fall harder. You can't be afraid of pain when chasing a man. Why didn't Noah choose me? He clearly knows my feelings for him. He rejected me again. His words were so decisive. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. The small cake is delicious. Who is that girl? What right does she have? Noah is protecting her. Bitch. That bitch showed up again. Disgusting. I really want to run her over. She's right. I'm going to wear number 15 and drive that bad guy Noah crazy. Noah actually kissed her on his own initiative. Unforgivable. Sorry. I can't hold it in anymore. I want her to die. I want her to die. If the out-of-control car crashes towards us and I'm standing next to her, who will Noah save? This is the final choice. Save me. Noah. It hurts so much. Noah. I like you the most. Noah. When I met the Bai family again, Narcissa was under investigation. Bai's parents were so furious that they seemed ready to rush up and tear me apart. Without you, our daughter wouldn't have done such a thing. She's already dead. Why can't you let her rest in peace? You vicious bitch. You've ruined her reputation. My precious daughter. Vivian stood aside, dressed in black, looking numb with no expression on her face. Noah's parents also hated me, blaming me for appearing beside Noah and provoking Narcissa, which led to this disaster. I picked up the freshly cooked porridge and got up to leave the place. Where are you going? It's 10:30. It's time for Noah to eat. Noah's mother seemed to be stimulated. She jumped up and rushed over from behind, lifted the lid of the thermos bucket, and poured the porridge all over my head and face. He can't eat at all. Get out. Stay away from our Noah. I moved my eyes and stuck out my tongue to lick it. Well, it's a bit salty. It's okay if Noah doesn't eat it. In the first year, During the final exams, I applied for Noah to retain his student status. The professors all knew him. And the project he had been working on was also transferred to me. I worked diligently, having fulfilled my obsession, striving to write perfect scores for each of his courses. In his textbooks, the familiar handwriting always accurately criticized every knowledge point. There were also little cartoon heads. He was already 20 years old. And he still liked to draw such things in textbooks. How childish. The little cartoon head even had a flowing hairband. It looked so familiar. So he drew me. Before I knew it, my eyes were filled with tears. In the second year, Noah's mother tried to drive me away. Aren't you just after the money of the Noah family? I might as well tell you the truth. I've already divorced his father. And his father has another wife now. Even if you cling to Noah, you won't get a single penny from the Noah family. Just leave and live your own life. Don't bother me anymore. I didn't stop massaging Noah. Auntie. Just wait a bit longer. There are still 30 minutes left for today's massage. After that, I took her to a lottery store and chose a lottery number that would be drawn in 5 minutes. Auntie raised her voice a bit. What do you mean? I just waited quietly. 5 minutes later, the lottery ticket won the prize. I had bet on all the right numbers. And it was the grand prize. 2 million yuan. And I gasped in surprise. Before the lottery store owner could congratulate me, I took out a lighter and burned the lottery ticket. I looked at Auntie and said seriously, I'm not short of money. Auntie seemed stunned, but there's no need to burn it. I flicked the ashes and said, all my luck in this life was used up to meet Noah. I don't dare to be greedy for anything more. When I was a ghost in my past life and was bored, I memorized many lottery numbers. But I didn't dare to take the risk. What if I exhausted my luck and God punished me by delaying Noah's waking up time? I've already decided that once Noah's health improves a bit more, I'll go to teach in poor areas, help with poverty alleviation, and do charity work. Since God gave me a chance to be reborn, I'll do more good deeds and hope that God will take pity and let Noah wake up soon. In the 8th year, on New Year's Eve, looking at the fireworks outside the window, I made dumplings with Noah's mother. Noah really likes dumplings with pork and Chinese cabbage filling. He always insists on eating them with scallions. What kind of filling do you like, Sonny? I'll make you a red bean paste dumpling in the shape of a pig. A WW. It's so cute. Auntie, Yumisado. Can you teach me how to make it? It's been 8 years already. Sonny. If your feelings haven't changed, don't call me Auntie anymore. Call me Mom. Mom, alright. This big bracelet of mine is the only thing passed down from our ancestors. It's not worth much. Don't dislike it. It's so ugly. Both Auntie and I froze as we were making dumplings. No, this wasn't right. I was wronged. I didn't say that. I felt awkward for a moment. Then, let out a low sigh. Both Auntie and I showed great disbelief when we looked at each other. We suddenly turned our heads. Noah was leaning back against the headboard, with a nasal feeding tube inserted. He weakly smiled. Noah woke up. His weak rehabilitation process attracted many of his old friends from back then. Yo yo yo, yo yo. Who is this skinny guy? Can't be Noah. Right? Let's take a photo. Back then, Noah's punch could make me kneel and beg him not to kill me. What about now? Give me another punch. Oops. Feels so good. Noah. Yeah. That's it. Do one more set. Encouraged by his thoughtful friends, Noah's face contorted with anger. Noah's mother smiled so much every day that her eyes were almost closed. Everyone she met said she looked 10 years younger. At night, Noah's mother would quietly slip away, leaving time for us. Noah still asked, did you finally get to eat the instant noodles stewed with abalone, sea cucumber, and hairy crabs back then? I said no. And he looked a bit sad, but that was my celebration banquet. After a while, he said again, Sonny, you're 8 years older than how I remember you. You look so mature now. I feel like I'm dating your sister. I have such a guilty conscience. I rolled my eyes. After a while, on a whim, I pretended to have a mature voice, leaned over, and asked him, hello, little brother Noah. I'm Sonny's sister, King Dottie Ann. If I go on a date with you, won't my sister be angry? Noah was stunned. He clearly didn't expect that a woman would actually play two roles and be jealous of herself. He tried to abide by male virtues. Well, I only go on dates with Sunny. Sorry. I was very sad. And the whimper sound came out immediately. Sunny. Sunny. You only have her in your mind. But it's me who has been by your side for 8 years. I hooked my arms around his neck and pretended to cry. But Noah, who was still like a male college student at heart, obviously couldn't handle it and panicked immediately. Dear baby. I was wrong. Stop crying. I'd give you my life. I'm really sorry. My dear. How could I bear to make you cry? I stopped crying and smiled. Then kissed the corner of his mouth. He relaxed a bit, thinking that I would let him off. But I didn't. No. You don't even comfort me when I cry. Noah didn't know how to comfort me. His mind was racing for a long time. Finally, having fulfilled my sigh, he raised his hands and sang for me. Noah digs in the little garden. Dig. Dig, let out a low sigh. Dig, plant the little seeds and make beautiful roses bloom. I really couldn't hold it in anymore. I laughed and cried at the same time and fell into his arms. Help! How could someone learn such things after watching Dewey in for just one day? There was no more money for medical expenses. So Noah was discharged from the hospital 2 months later. The big villa with luxury cars, a garage, and a garden that he remembered was gone. All that was left was an old, shabby rental house without an elevator. His shoes were too small and didn't fit him. He could only step on the heels and drag his feet on the ground. Noah didn't ask where his father was. He remained silent and said nothing. But when he lay down in the quilt, he hugged me tightly, and his voice was a bit choked up. I'm sorry. Sunny. Don't say sorry. You saved me. Noah. You're my hero. I hugged him back. I love you. Sunny. Even if I had to do it 10,000 times over, I would still do the same thing. The moonlight shone down, and his mature face had a childish look in his eyes. Childish, but full of passion. I held his face in my hands and kissed him. My little husband. You're so amazing. Noah pursed his lips awkwardly. What? What husband? I'm not little at all. I lifted his chin with my fingertips. Is that so? I haven't been with a young college guy for 8 years. Let me see if you have a different flavor compared to your Uncle Noah. Noah growled in a low voice out of anger. Sister. Just after he roared, he realized what he said. No. Sunny. I'm 3 months older than you. I poked his shoulder. Why are you being so fierce? Bad little brother. The tough and fierce school bully persona isn't popular anymore. Noah pouted a grieved lie but still believed my words. He opened his mouth. Really? I was so happy that I kissed him again and again. In less than 3 months, Noah became a domineering CEO. His learning and research and development abilities were still extraordinary. In fact, because he had rested for 8 years, his mind became even sharper. He could peel garlic for me while mentally calculating the model data. In the first month, he sold his patent rights for 2 million yuan. In the second month, the orders he signed brought in nearly 10 million yuan in profit. In the third month, he moved us into a larger villa and planted the 200 square meter garden full of roses. I took the porridge I had cooked to his company and kissed him in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows of the luxurious office on the top floor. Wife, I want to eat the meat, cooked by my wife. I ruffled his short hair a couple of times. No way. You need to take care of your stomach. You can only have meat 5 times a week. Noah took off his overcoat, put on a pair of gold-rimmed glasses that gave him a refined yet debauched look, revealing the 3-piece suit underneath. Then I want to eat my wife. I directly squished his mouth into the shape of a 3. Acting coquettously won't work either. Comrade Noah. Please have the right attitude towards eating. At this moment, a young secretary came in without knocking. President Noah. I remember that you like the braised meat in the cafeteria. So I brought you some. The young secretary even gave me a special look. You've been working hard. You should also take good care of your health. After saying that, she bowed and left. I raised my eyebrows. Noah directly connected to the internal line. First, he called the Secretary General of the Secretary team. Come in. take Secretary Lee's lunchbox away, close my door, and then emphasize the work discipline. Then he called the HR department, deduct 10 of the Secretary General's bonus, fire Secretary Lee, and I want to see a new person take over next Monday. After making these 2 calls, he hugged me again. Wife smells so good. I can't eat without hugging you. Sometimes. He was so busy that he didn't have lunch until 12 o'clock at noon. Most of the time, he was in meetings. I directly ordered meals for everyone, knocked open the door of the meeting room, gave each person a portion, and made them stop the meeting and have lunch first. Then, what out a well sigh. The elite office workers who were bombarded with questions about data and process checks by Noah could see their respected president. He had to hug his wife to be able to eat. He would take a bite of food and then a bite of his wife. And he even needed to feed her. I hoped he would be more mature. And he looked at me with his wet eyes. Doesn't sister like young college guys anymore? Obviously, having Fostelvoyed say. He was too immersed in the role. I stroked his head kindly. I like college students. Not kindergartners in the senior class. After that, everyone who attended the meeting received an extra generous bonus. Colleagues affectionately called it the dog food fee. When holding an online company research meeting, he was in the study at home. When he heard me enter the kitchen, he insisted on wearing a Bluetooth headset and following me in, hugging me while I cut the vegetables and meat, and having the meeting at the same time. Go and have your meeting. I chased him away more than once. But he always rubbed his face and neck against me until I had to put up with this big clingy guy. The colleagues on the headset heard my voice and also tried their best to persuade me to let him stay. Madam, please don't chase the president away. He's so scary when he's alone. Yes. Last time I made a mistake in a program, and the president scolded me for 3 days and 3 nights as if he hung me on the city gate. I chose the place for our wedding. On that mountain. On the wedding day, the mountains were covered with red roses. He knelt in front of me and took my hand. His sharp eyes, looking up at me, were filled with love. He said that in the presence of heaven, once he held this hand, it would be for a lifetime. I looked at him and nodded with a faint smile. But soon I found that he seemed to be addicted to getting married. He chose a small city by the Mediterranean Sea and got married again. Let God also see how beautiful my wife is. Our honeymoon lasted for 3 years. This island is really beautiful. Wife. How about I buy it for you? The view from the 7-star hotel in Dubai is nice. Wife. How about I book this floor? You can fly here to watch the sunrise whenever you want in the future. Okay? Wife. You have to love me today and give me a kiss. I'll also learn to mix drinks. Wife. Don't look at him. At worst, I'll wear a sleeve garter for you to see. I finally built up all my muscles again. Wife. Touch them. When I was so tired that I was about to fall asleep, I could still hear his murmur, I was my wife's little devoted lover today too. I gently kissed him. Good night, puppy. Most of my best friend and his old brothers had already started families and established careers. During those 8 years, they all took good care of me and Noah's mother. So when Noah's company grew larger, he began to take care of them in return. Giving generous gifts during festivals was the most basic. If they were short of performance, he would help with performance. If someone in their family needed recuperation, he would directly arrange a private hospital. When they got together to drink, everyone would sigh, we've made it through. Wasn't that the case? Both friendship and love had gone through an extremely difficult 8 years and finally emerged with a brilliant luster. Sister-in-law is really beyond reproach to you. Noah. If you're sorry for her, I'll be the first one to not let you off. One of his brothers thumped his chest, brothers are watching. All that's left here is blessing and admiration. Back then, it was him who helped me investigate the matter of Narcissa hiring a driver to commit murder. In a flash. So many years had passed. At night, Noah hugged me, baby. During these 8 years, you've suffered a lot. I leaned against his arms. It doesn't matter. I know you loved me very much in your previous life too. So in this life, I'm here specifically to spoil you. Noah let out a muffled grunt and buried his head in the side of my neck. I coaxed him. What do you think the title of a book would be if our experiences were written down? Noah thought carefully for a long time. What title? How about Silly Puppy and Naughty Wife? I had been looking forward to a gust of wind blowing rose petals onto his lips stained with blood. Seeing that I couldn't stop laughing, Noah bit my ear and wouldn't let go. You must have thought of a title too. Tell me quickly. I won't tell you. Then I'll kneel down in a suit. And I'll even wear a choker and animal ears. Okay? It's a deal. I leaned close to his ear and whispered secretly. Reborn, well-behaved girl. Don't run away. Arrogant school bully. While he was shocked by this extremely embarrassing title, I quickly kissed him. Well, he didn't dodge. When he realized it, his neck turned red.